Tawfik, welcome. We're here at Milken. There's still plenty to go, but what are your reflections so far? What are you hearing? Has anything surprised you?
A few themes that are emerging clearly. One is around geopolitical uncertainty, exacerbated by the tariffs.
Yep.
A second one is really the acceleration of artificial intelligence, which keeps picking up speed, velocity, and impact. And I think the third one, Milken obviously is mostly for investors, is around private capital and how it continues to look for opportunities around the world. So these are probably the three things that I'm picking up as the most relevant topics.
Let's dig into those a little bit more, those topics. AI, for example, is it viewed as negative? Is it viewed as positive? An opportunity? Challenges? I mean, how are they looking at all these three separate things?
I think it's a balanced view. I mean, look, my perspective is AI is something that comes in once in a lifetime at best, and it's a nonlinear curve. It's an exponential curve, and I think the human brain actually struggles to process nonlinear things. And for me, the best example is what happened in the last 3-4 months in some of these foundational models, what they can do today versus what they were able to do 6 months ago. There's a massive gap. And so this notion of velocity, of acceleration, of pace of change is super important. And it's hard for companies and organizations to get their heads around it. We're starting to see massive value being created from agentic AI. As you know, many agents are being built, whether for customer service or back offices or predictive maintenance. And I think we're just at the beginning of a very, very long cycle. I'm challenged to find parts of the global economy that are not going to be affected by AI. And this is not me just hyping it. Yeah. This is a fundamental belief based also on talking to a lot of people at Milken.
So what's the advice there to leaders in this?
The advice is you've got to be a leader. You've got to scream from the rooftops. You have to believe in it. There's this old quote from one of the hyperscaler CEOs that said, today you're a technology company whether you know it or don't. And I think you could extend that quote to today you're an AI company whether you know it or don't, whether you like it or don't. And so therefore, taking the lead, experimenting, looking for pockets of value, and hiring the talent that's going to be required to unlock that.
There's so much uncertainty. AI is one reason. We talked about tariffs as well. How is that playing out here?
I think people are very concerned because there's a novelty element in what's happened in the last 3 months. But I'm also hearing some pretty balanced views that this is a necessary rebalancing of global trade flows, that there are multiple perspectives to this issue, that the current global macroeconomic system was being challenged from different parts, and so that there's a maturing of the conversation around tariffs, I would say. And generally, I found people to be on the optimistic side that this is going to work itself out, that some of the key imbalances will find a solution. I expected the room to be more pessimistic, and I was with some elected officials as well as some CEOs last night at a dinner, and the room was actually quite bullish about the rest of the year.
Okay. In terms of private markets, lots of evolution going on here, a lot of consolidation, growth, multi-platform. Where do you see as the next sort of big change? How do you see that playing out over the next decade?
Private capital has done incredibly well the last couple of decades, and there's been a bit of a slowdown, obviously, in some of the asset classes in the last 18, 24 months. Private equity's been pretty much flat. Private credit's been going up quite a bit. Venture has been somewhat flat. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of appetite for investment returns, and there's a lot of money still flowing around the world. What's interesting is capital goes to places where it is welcome and where it gets treated well. And I think that's something that everybody should remember, in the sense that capital has choices. Capital is very fluid in many ways. And so it'll be interesting to see, as we watch all the trade flows of goods and maybe services, it'll be interesting to keep an eye on capital flows as well.
How does this Milken feel compared to previous ones that you've attended? What do you think you'll be taking away from this one?
That at the end, we're still one global economy. I mean, you can just look around and there are, I don't know how many countries are represented here, but it feels like there is a very international conference underway. Number two, that whatever the challenges of the day, there is a lot of people who are spending meaningful time trying to sort these challenges, whether they're in the for-profit sector or in the government sector. And then that the pace of ideas, the pace of innovation is continuing even faster maybe than the last few iterations. So honestly, I feel incredibly energized. I mean, I was telling someone earlier, I think this is one of the best Milkens I've attended. I've been coming here for 12 years or so.
Tawfik, thank you so much.
Thank you.